Alright class, this is the review video for tonight's lesson. One of the first things that I showed you is how to bring in your avatar, how to save your avatar. So how you're going to do that is you're going to go through the normal steps. You're going to go to File, Import FBX, and then you're going to go down to your body. Just going to pick one of these. And you're going to do the usual. Put the body in. And then you're going to click on the, make sure the body's in right. Seems it's in right. Then you're going to go up to File. You're going to save as avatar. And you're just going to type in the name of the avatar. And then hit save. And there you have it. That's how you save it. And it's the same thing when you want to save a garment. So let's say I made a garment. I'm happy with it. Yay. Lovely. File. Save as. Now if you're not done with it and you want to go back to it, you just save it as a project. You type the name of it. Hit save. But if you're happy with it, then you go to save as garment, type the name of it, hit save. And it's just that simple. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a skirt. Now there's two ways, of course, you can do this. There's the simple way where you just do a skirt, do a box, and you modify do it that way. Copy, paste. You can do it this way and then just go on about the normal stuff. But once again, you have to make sure with everything that you create, you have to make sure it's a little bit higher than you think it needs to be. Now in my case, this has to be quite high. Because she do got hips and she do got the butt. So, do it that way and then just go to File, just go sew it. And it's really quite simple for the skirt. Let's do it that way. Now she's got all this extra fabric in the back. We want to get rid of that. So in this case, I don't want you don't have to do the symmetric editing because you got to make this smaller. But doing it this way, it's more work. You're going to have to stretch and add dots, and you're going to have to keep doing it this way until you get it tight enough. And then you're going to end up with this kind of, but then it starts to warp and it doesn't look good. So instead of doing the box method, I would highly suggest that you do it this way, the way I originally taught you all to do it. Now, it doesn't matter that this box is small. That doesn't matter. You're going to make that bigger. And give yourself a little space here. And I do want you to add a little dot here. That's what I'm going to do, because I feel like that'll help with the curve of the hips. I'm going to add a little curve just so it looks a little better. I'm going to pull it in a little bit and see you have a somewhat of a nice curve here. I'm just going to see, now it looks like the curve of her hip. So now I'm just going to copy and mirror paste. And now we have the same exact thing on the other side. So now copy, and this time I'm just going to paste. And here's another tip. You can left click in the 3D side, hold down shift, and left click, just like you can in the 2D side. So you're just going to do the same stuff, same concept, except don't turn it. You got to be mindful of how you're moving it. Now, got that done. Horizontally flip. Again, doesn't necessarily have to be touching unless you have a mannequin that has assets such as this one. Then it's okay for you to pull it through a little bit. And then you're just going to sew it. In this case, you do this and you sew this together. So in this case, you sew this and this together, and you do the same in the front. and have it sewn together. Do your usual steps, really, and see if you do it this way instead of doing the box. You don't have to modify it to make it smaller. It fits perfectly. And you don't have to do much to it. Now, your next step with this is I want you to add a waistband. And that's fairly simple. Now you can use the rectangle. So you're going to do that. Pull it back. Copy, paste. Copy. Mirror paste. And then we're just going to move this in the back per usual. Pull it down. Flip. Now in this case, you can do symmetric sewing. Not sewing, pattern. So just like with your collar, you're going to sew the bottom to the top. And then go around, bottom to the top. You're going to sew these two together. Bottom to the top. Sew the sides together. You want to make sure everything is sewn. And you hit simulate. You have a cute little waistband. And just adjust. Make sure it fits a little better. The more you pull and tug, the better it'll look. See? That's your waistband. Now, last thing I want you to do is give it a little bit of trim. So give it a little hem. It's not wanting to do a hem. So let's do a hem here. And sometimes Sometimes the sides don't work. Sometimes you have to do it for the top and the bottom. And I just want you all to give it just a little hem. Nothing major. Sometimes you got to do it again. Even I mess up sometimes. So I just want you to give it a little bit of a hem. It took longer than it should have, but this is a basic concept I want you all to do with the skirt. When you simulate it, it should look like this. Very simple. And that's what I want you to do. Now, the next thing I want you to make is some bottoms. And we're going to do the same thing. Now you can still use this tool to do the same concept. And this time, make a pair of pants. Now with this particular body, I'm going to have to make this a little bit longer, a little bit wider. Because she does have some hips. So once you get to that point, copy. And before you do that, of course, you need to add copy. And this time you're going to mirror paste. Then, of course, gonna adjust. And once again, you're going to copy and mirror paste. Oh, paste. And make sure you copy them both. Copy, paste. And clip. Make sure this is high enough. Now here's where it gets a little tricky when it comes to pants. So the outside is the same concept when you sew it. The outsides are the same. But when you get to the inside, you're going to want to look for, that's going to be hard. So let me make this a little wider. So that the inseam can be seen. So you're going to sew the inside to make some pants. You're going to look straight through here. And you want to sew this side to this side. And the same thing over here. This side to this side. Now when you get up here, you still have this here. So you're just going to sew here to here and here to here. And then you're going to sew it. Now, sometimes you can get this happening here. This can sometimes be normal. All you have to do is just pull it. And you keep pulling. You get closer. And you just pull till it comes through. And it's that simple. Now you have a pair of pants. But what I want you to watch out for is this. It's sticking. So, I'm going to add that. And we're going to make these more fitted. And we're going to do the same thing on the back side. Make these a little more fitted. Just a little more. And you simulate. So when you run into this, you just go back a step. You can move it, then you can simulate it. You may run into this issue too. So you just kind of pull. See, I have a big issue here. What do we do when we have that issue? Go back a step. So you're going to go back a step. You got to be careful on how much you modify it after you've simulated it, because that can sometimes happen. You got to do a little at a time. See, that's much better. And essentially, this is what I want you all to do. Just kind of get used to making a pair of pants. And I did use this body on purpose, just so you could see what could happen if you don't quite adjust it the right way. I'm also going to adjust the height here because it's obviously too short. Simulate. And you just keep pulling. Just keep pulling. And eventually you'll get it up fairly high. Now, something else you can do if you don't feel like pulling it, make a waistband. And I'm going to do the same concept. Might make it a little bigger this time. Okay, and have that. And a copy and a mirror paste. It's all the same concepts that you work on. And you're going to sew it together. You're going to simulate it. See, that helped a little bit with our issue here. But this side is a little bit too high. So we're going to fix that. Pull that down a bit. And that kind of fixed our issue here. But you see it's still kind of high. And the issue is that was too high. So now it's still kind of a little much. So you just pull. You pull it up. And just keep going until you get it the way you like it. And you can leave these little wrinkles if you want. You can add more wrinkles. And if you want to add more wrinkles, it's simple. All you do is you would make this a longer. Add more wrinkles, you just pull it up. You can do pretty much anything. And this is your homework. I want you to just familiarize yourself with making pants, skirts, shorts if you want. And that's all I want you to do. Move that up. If you want to tighten it, give it a little more oomph. Do the same thing for this. But just keep in mind, the tighter it is, the more you're going to have to tug to get it to fit better. But just be mindful of how form-fitting your outfit is or your pants are. Practice makes perfect. And that's what I want you guys to do, is to practice. You'll get it. And if you get lost, my office hours will be 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. SLT on Saturday. And of course, we'll go through this a little bit on Thursday. As always, take your time. If you mess up, go back a step. Have fun. And if you feel like you don't like your original garment, start over. I will see you all on Thursday.